Hello to everyone and welcome on the webinar Caneco BT for Electrical and Calculation and Design. My name is Andrei Oreshnik. I coming from company IB-CADDY and we are official reseller for C electrical expert and now also for Caneco software on our market. With me is also Younes Nadir, who is Caneco product manager from ETAP, from Alpi company. With me is also Mehmet Yüksel, who is product manager for Caneco BIM and implementation, also from ETAP Alpi company. And with me is also Rob Žabkar, who is also from IB-CADDY company, let's say more or less for technical support for our products. In the beginning, I would like to present a little bit our company. Actually, our company, it was starting in 1991, and we was starting with first software, what was electrical in old name CADDY++. So actually, we are a reseller for Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia and Herzegovina, Serbia, Montenegro, North Macedonia, and also Albania. And we have actually 3 offices, 2 here in Slovenia, in Ljubljana and in Kamnik, and the third one in Belgrade in Serbia. More or less, we are, let's say, software house where we offer on the market different software solution for mechanical design like is SolidWorks and 3D Experience and all connected software with SolidWorks. We have also 3D printers, for example, Supply and Markforged and Forum Labs. We have also some hardware devices like 3D scanners, measurement devices from Faro. And of course, we have software solution for electrical engineering, C electrical expert, and now also Caneco. So our offer, how I already said, it's C electrical, Caneco, and C electrical expert. And today we will present a little bit more the Caneco software for the calculation in electrical segment. So I will pass the word to Mehmet and to Younes. So guys, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Andrei. I will take the presentation. Yes. Just a couple of words about IG and more ETAP, what we are today and where we come from. Just let me share my screen like that. In fact, we have 3 companies that has been created around 1985 or 86. And Caneco is the software from Alpi. C Electrical is the software from IG, and ETAP is for ETAP. The Schneider Electric Group has bought this 3 company, among other software company also, and we merged in 2023 as ETAP brand for representing all of the 3 company, and now we are ETAP and not anymore IG or Alpi for Caneco. And for the key figure of Caneco of ETAP today, we are the leading company in Europe for LV electrical installation, designing, sizing the installation itself, and we are also leading company in BIM solution for to work with Revit and the calculation software as we have now, we are something like 900 people working by ETAP for all over the world. And if we go deeper in the offer that we are providing today, Younes will talk about Caneco BT, which is the LV calculation software. He will go deeper in the different possibility from that. But I will just present the main offer of Caneco today. You have free version of Caneco Caneco subscription. The first one is the launch version, then the Grow and the Scale Plus. If we go deeper in that, the launch bundle is dedicated to small businesses up to 630 amps as power rating for electrical installation. You can design a low voltage installation with this bundle. With Grow bundle, you will not have any limitation on that on the LV part, and be able to define in every cases and every size of building and power from the transformer, the genset, and so on, and be able to define the SLD and also the possibility to work with other software included as a module in the Caneco bundles. And the latest one, Scale Plus bundle, include everything from the LV part, but we also have the MV part, integrating the solution from ETAP design to define and to size electrical installation in MV installation. And this include also the possibility to link with Caneco BT, starting with the LV, starting from the MV in ETAP design, and go to Caneco BT for the LV part. This is one of the DNA of the Caneco product, be able to work as a standalone and also be able to work with other software, other solution here with ETAP design. And you will see also today with C Electrical, and of course the part that I'm responsible for to work with Revit in a two way regarding the digital model. If you have any question on that, don't hesitate to put in the chat. I will try to give you an answer, and if you want, in a further webinar, we can have one dedicated to that part. So that's it for me. I will let the floor to Younes for the demonstration of Caneco BT with LV electrical installation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mehmet. And let's start with Caneco BT. First of all, I'm happy to be with you today. My name is Younes Nadir. I'm the product manager of Caneco BT, and I was working here with EGE from 2017. The goal today is to introduce you, or to give you an overview of the main functionalities of Caneco BT. As you know, there is a lot of functionality of Caneco BT that we cannot show you all these functionalities in 20 minutes in one webinar. But let's go directly to Caneco BT to show you what is important from Caneco BT. To start a project, you click on File, New, or Ctrl N, and then we click to validate. At the beginning, Caneco BT always will ask you to choose the manufacturers or brand that you will use for your installation. And for example, here, let's see what we have in for circuit breakers. For example, we can have as you see, we'll have a lot of type of circuit breakers, for example, here, fuses, switches, cables, and so on. By default, Caneco BT suggests me Schneider Electric because I have parameters this in options by default. If I want to modify here, I can go click on the icon folder, and you can see that we have a huge list of catalogs: ABB, Eaton Mueller, General Electric, Haiger, Legrand, French brand, Merlin-Gerin, Mueller, and so on. You can also see that we have old catalogs. For example, let's see here from 1990s. Why we have that in Caneco? Because you can use Caneco both for new installation and also for old installation with extension. And in this case, you will need to have the older catalogs. Okay. Now let's validate our choice. We can do the same thing with the modular circuit breakers, BCD curves, motor circuit breakers, fuses, switches, and so on. And if you have a preference for some manufacturers, you need only to check this box default options, and then when you start a new project for all your future projects, we will have your choice by default. Let's validate this window. Now, Caneco in the beginning always will begin with this supply sheet. Here, because in calculation, we do calculation from upstream to downstream. Look, to fill in all datas, we start with the supply. Here, as you can see, you have many types of supply: transformers, genset, board, or DC current for direct current installation. Let's, for example, go with the example of transformer, the typical installation with transformer. In Caneco BT, when we choose transformer, you need only to select apparent power. Caneco here give you a list of standard power here, and then when we choose a power, automatically Caneco fill in all electrical characteristics of our transformer. For example, the short circuit voltage here that we name UKR, for example. If you want to put other characteristic, if you want to edit characteristic other than what Caneco suggests, you need just to switch to UKR, and then we have the hand to modify. For example, if it's not 6% of UKR, you can, for example, manually make 5 or 7 or as you want. Okay, file, that means that Caneco will have information from a file, from a standard file. Okay. Now it's important to note that we can go until 6 transformer in parallel, and it's only for the main supply. That means that we can have also a backup supply if we want. Other thing, you can define the operating configuration. That means that I can define the active suppliers. For example, I can have in reality 3 transformers, but in operation I can use 1 or I can use 2 transformers. That means the third is here only for backup. Okay. Other thing, let's go to this second section, the LVN network. Here you can define the standard that you use for your installation. For example, for me, I have all standards because Caneco is a multi-standard software for calculation. The ES for Australian, BS standard, the French family, Italian, and the international family. By default, as we do what we call localization of our software, by country, you will have by default at least the standard of your country. And for customers that have the what we call the international module, they will have all these standards. Okay. Frequency as well, we can work with 50 or 60 hertz. If you, for those who work in marine installation, you can use the 60 hertz. Regarding earthing systems, we handle all earthing systems, IT, TT, TN, or IT with or without neutral. If you choose CN, note that you can do selection of even about 3P plus neutral plus PE for TNS or 3P plus PN when we have the neutral and the earth conductor confounded as TNC. The voltage as Caneco is for all the low voltage. That means that we can go until 1000 volts in EC or 1500 in DC. You can enter also the cost fee and so on. Now let's launch calculation. I've chosen only the power, and then you can see I give you the up, the windows off. Here Caneco calculation done, and he recommends that we use 2 single core 185 millimeters square by phase, and the same things for PN. That it's a very important point here. You must know that Caneco BT, unlike other softwares, do automatic calculation. It's not about verifying. For example, here I didn't give Caneco the cross section. Caneco determine automatically the cross section, and if we choose to add a protection, Caneco will also determine automatically the protection. Let's add, for example, a protection device 10 meters downstream of the transformer. That means it's in the top of my installation. To do that, I go to the board tab here, board, and then I can choose to add even a ECB breaker or the MCCB breaker. Let's, for example, choose the MCCB breaker, and now launch calculation. Here, Caneco, when you launch calculation, Caneco will give a list of all protection that comply with the technical requirements as rating currents, breaking capacity, and so on. And Caneco will highlight the first one, in blue here, the first one is usually the most cheapest or economical one. That means if it's correct for you, you can't choose. We can choose this one. You have also in the bottom the main characteristic short delay or instantaneous setting here that will help to choose quickly which protection we can choose. But in general, the first one, it's the most economical one. Let's choose this one. You can, I don't know if you remark that now we have another proposition for cable. Why? Because at first, when we did calculation without protection, Caneco BT based this calculation in the rated current. Okay. Now, as we add a protection, the calculation will be based on the thermal setting or the long delay setting, 19 and 50. Okay. Let's now add some circuits. Here you have a window to add indexes and maybe add the subject, drawn by and checked by. For me, it's a classical in all softwares. And when in Folio on the print out, Folio will have all this information automatically. Let's validate, and then automatically Caneco, when we enter data and we fill in data, Caneco will draw automatically what we call the network single line diagram. Okay. Now we can add other circuits from our main switchboard. We must note that there is an important notion in Caneco BT. When we want to add a circuit, we can go click on your circuit, and here it's important we have a typical notion on Caneco BT. It's the circuit style. What does mean circuit style in Caneco BT? It's a combination of three things: protection, cable, and receiver. Let's see what we can have here. I choose to add, for example, a board. Okay. And as you see, we have the protection, the link, and the receiver. In this case, it's a board, but we can have also socket, lighting, and so on. Now I will double click here to edit the circuit sheet here. And it's important to know that Caneco BT will suggest and fill up automatically a lot of information directly. For example, even if is it a single or three-phase circuit, which type of protection, and which type of cable, the family of cable, the factors, the correction factors, and so on. And all of this information, it's based on the type of equipment, even it's a board or socket or motor and so on. And we can have till 100 information are filling automatically by Caneco BT. If it's fine and you are okay for all this information, what you need to put in, it's only the length and the consumption. For example, let's make it 80 meters, and the consumption. Important also for regarding consumption, Caneco BT accept and understand all units. That means kilowatts, kiloamps, amps, kVA, watt, and so on. Caneco BT will, you must just be careful to put always the units. Otherwise, Caneco BT will take by default the units set by default. In our case, it's the amps. For example, I can here make 100 kVA and calculate. Caneco will calculate the current design, the circuit design current here. I can make, for example, 100 kW. It will accept Caneco and it will calculate the new circuit design current and so on. I can also make, for example, 200 amps. He will take it, and if I give any units, he will take the amps. Okay. In general, when you add a circuit, the only information you need to add is the length and the consumption. I mean that's if all this information is okay for you, for example, the core, even it's a copper or aluminum, or the installation method and the factors, temperature, grouping, or additional, if here any fire risk or explosion risk, and so on. You can define all that, and automatically when you calculate, Caneco will calculate and determine the protection device and the phase. That's the automatic calculation. But Caneco also, you can use it for verifying existing installation. It's simple. For example, you just check this box and now you are on verification mode. For example, I can choose what I mean, and then when I calculate, Caneco will tell me if my circuit is compliant or not. When we talk about compliance, Caneco BT do 4 verification. Okay, we can see that in conformity tab. For example, here you have all information why my protection is compliant, because I have a good breaking capacity, because I have a good rating current. Why my cable is okay, because I have the first condition is about overload. Okay, the ampacity EZ. We verify also the voltage drop, the protection of people and direct contact, and the protection of cables. We have the short circuit and the thermal stress of cables. Okay. Now, what about how to enter data? In Caneco BT, we have 3 view, or not only view, it's view and mode of data entry. That means that here I have the network single line diagram. I can switch to the board single line diagram. And I have a third possibility, it's a spreadsheet. You can do it with 3 modes of entering data. The first one is give a global or overview of our installation. The board single line diagram allow us to add, for example, the earth conductor, add maybe some details on schematic. Here we have the section that allow us to add a terminal and so on. And the third one is will allow to do a massive modification for all circuits. Let's give you an example. Here, for example, I have my supply the main switchboard and a circuit for a board. I can do copy and paste here. I can also do the same thing here. Up, Control C, up and paste. And when I go back to the network single line diagram, I will find all my circuits. Let's add, for example, a new circuit, a bus bar. And then here I just need to put a consumption. For example, this bus bar will be for sockets, for example. Let's do that. 32 amps. I can calculate. And then no need to have all this. I can delete all the circuits. And then here I can add, for example, socket up 5 circuit or socket. Let's zoom more. And to edit a circuit sheet, I need to double click here, and then I will access to the circuit sheet. As the circuit for board, I only need to check if all this information are okay and add length and consumption. When we have in Caneco the 3 points, that means that Caneco you will give you a list of receiver here to size. I can also enter directly a power, for example, what, or I can tell Caneco that I have 5 sockets of 2 size, but in this case, I must to check the diversity factor. That means, yes, I have 5 sockets in my circuit, and I can use it simultaneously, but we will not use the 5 sockets with 16 conception for each socket. That means that I must modify this diversity factor. In this case, Caneco will ask me to give 2 lengths, the total length up to requirement, for example, 40, and the length for until the first device, for example, 10. Can calculate. I can do the same thing for the others, but I can also use the copy call here. When we are at the level of the terminal circuit, it's good to use the spreadsheet, for example, here, and you will see up, copy, and I can paste. For example, here, finally, I don't have 40, but for example, it's 35. I can quickly do as Excel and do change quickly. And to calculate, I can calculate here, or I can go into network line diagram, or even I just select my circuit and I launch automatic calculation, and it's done. That's about how to add circuits, how to use Caneco. We see that it's a multi-standard software, and it's give us section, cross section, and protection following the standard requirements. Now you have also 2 or 3 functionalities that Caneco have, and lot of our competitors don't have. It's about the selectivity and the cascading. Let's give you quickly overview of that functionality. Here, I know that I have discrimination, okay, until this value. The discrimination it's by table, okay, but even that we can check if here the curves, this one is in the upstream, and for my circuit it's this one. We can see that if we based in curves, we don't really have discrimination, but in this case discrimination is given from table. That means that if I go here, you have like electronic catalog here, and then here you have the upstream circuit breaker and the downstream circuit breaker, and here you just must to choose my protection upstream and my protection in downstream, and Caneco will give us the result of discrimination. Other thing very important that is that Caneco use the limitation property of the circuit breaker. That means here, for example, when I click right button, I can see the limitation. What does mean? That means that here instead of calculate what we call the thermal stress E square T, when the circuit breakers have this property, there is a limitation of the E square T directly. We give the current here, and then you can go directly and have the value here in this X. The same thing, and with this property, you will have downstream. You will have economy cables. We do a lot of economy on cables by using this functionality. The same thing, we have limitation of the peak current. That means that if you have a switch down behind circuit breakers, you can do some economy because we have this limitation. As you know, to choose a switch, you must have the making capacity that must be higher than the peak current. By this limitation, we can install shaper switches behind our circuit breakers. What can we also see? We can also show you. Let's go to the screen size. I can put this one or add, for example, a new circuit, another bus bar for lighting, for example, and here need only to put the consumption, for example 25 amps here, and then let's add a new circuit, lighting. I double click to edit my circuit, and then I have the 2 points. That means that I can choose the consumption directly given by Caneco. Let's choose, for example, for 18 watts, and I have, for example, 10 lamps. Same thing, I must put the total length here and the length until the first lamp here. I do OK. And let's go to board single line diagram. I can quickly Control C and up, Control V. I can also launch calculation directly in the BSLD. Up, and it's done. Now that we have all these circuits, Caneco will generate automatically a lot of reports. All you need for your customer, for control office, or for study, all you want, Caneco generates automatically all reports. Let's see that. You can choose print in here or directly on file. We go to the page setup. Up. Is view. I do Windows in the other screen. Let's check. For example, here, Caneco BT will generate all these reports, network single line diagram, the normal display sheet or the standby display sheet, and the board single line diagram, the bill of materials, list of cables, and so on. You can print one by one, but you can also create a folder of documents like here. It's simple to do. Other thing, even the UI is in English. You can print in other languages if you want. Okay. Let's, for example, choose the study folder and click on preview. Here, Caneco, we can obviously choose the logo of the project, the client, the control office, and so on. Then we have the list of all folios. Then we have the single line diagram that we can also, for example, customize labels or not. Like this, we'll have also the labels. Then it's the normal supply sheet, all information about my transformer. We can also have calculation. It's documents that are in French. In all console bodies ask for this calculation sheet that will show if all our circuits are compliant and if we are compliant with all criteria. Okay, the overload, drop voltage, indirect contact, and short circuit. Okay, pause because we'll have that for all circuits of my installation. Here it's up. The protection board single line diagram with all information, schematic and information, and so on. Here it's the power requirements. This bill of cables here. The list of device, protection devices, and so on. Protection devices setting. We have over 50 reports to generate by Caneco BT. And other points important here is that with Caneco BT, we have a lot of possibility to import on different formats. For example, we can export in what we call text. In text, we'll have the ASCII format, the CSV or Excel format, and even XML format, export and import. Also, we can have can export in graphic export. That means that we can export all. You see all our folders that we can print. We can also do export in WMF, EMF, or even DXF to open it then by AutoCAD. We can also cancel. I can also export, as said by my colleague Mimet, we have a bidirectional interface between Caneco BT and Caneco Beam. Caneco Beam, it's you must understand it's 3D. It's using Revit. That means that with Caneco BT and Caneco Beam, we have a total bidirectional interface between these two softwares. We can also export to C Electrical or to EPB Rhapsody. And with export C Electrical, exactly what we will do now, and Andre will use this file, XML file, to continue to add a lot of details in schematic. And for it's all for me. I know it was maybe quick, but we don't have. Maybe another time we can go deeply on other details. Thank you.
Younes, thank you so much.
Is yours, Andres.
Yeah, thank you so much for this good presentation. I will actually just present a little bit what you said in the end. So it's possible to export from Caneco the XML file. And this XML file, it can be used for importing and made automatic diagrams in C Electrical. Actually, here is one empty project. I will just file, import, Caneco BT XML file, and I can choose with on XML file. It will be single line or multi-line diagrams. I will pick now single line for this example, open, and I will just say okay for all cabinets that it will be generating automatically this single line, and then I will have all this schematic what I can let's say in the future do some 3D panels and so on and so on. So it's always taking a little bit to generate all these pages. So here we can see now the single line. We have beautiful folders in each folder we have different let's say cabinets. It is all generated with all technical data for the main cabinet and then circuit and so on and so on. The same thing is for multi-line diagrams, but here I will just open the project because I generated already before. Multi-line, actually the same project, but now I have, of course, multi-line project in this case. And this is, again, everything automatically what I get from Caneco software. So more or less, we are finished with, let's say, this short presentation of Caneco and a little bit with connection with C Electrical software. Just in the end, I would like to say thank you to all participants for your time to listen. I think very interesting solution on calculation side, let's say. For sure, in near future, we will make Mehmet a new webinar for Caneco Beam. In this area, yeah, we would also like to give more information on the market, what is possible and in which way. maybe just on the end, also for my side, you can get all information also on our electrical site, electrical.ib-caddy.com, where you can get all information about C electrical software, about Caneco, and also C electrical expert. For sure, we are more than available for all questions to communicate with you for each of these software. Again, thank you so much for the webinar, and Yusuf and Mehmet also thank you for good presentation.
Thank you. Thank you
Thank
all.
you. Bye
Have
bye.
a nice day.
Thank you, Andrei.
Bye bye.
Thank you all of the attendee. Thank you. Bye bye.